Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation for the research project I conducted, an investigation into the antimetastatic effects of Hibiscus sabdariffa extract on MCF7 breast carcinoma cells via downregulation of the NF-kB-dependent MMP-9 pathway. Breast cancer is classified as abnormal and often uncontrollable cell proliferation, leading to tumor formation. It's reported 23% of all malignancies and 14% of cancer-related mortalities in females are caused by breast cancer. MCF7 breast carcinoma cells were chosen for study for their prevalence in the literature and their versatility as a well-understood cell line. Metastases, which are secondary, non-localized tumor cells, account for 90% of all cancer deaths, making metastasis, the method of locomotion and invasion throughout an infected host, a target for anti-cancer research. Metastasis is induced by MMPs, a group of proenzymes regulated by p38 MAPK signaling. MMP-9 plays a key role in extracellular matrix degradation, making it a suitable target for anti-invasion studies using nutraceutical products like delphinidin extracted from Hibiscus sabdariffa, which has been shown to induce apoptosis in tumor cells in leukemia and gastric carcinoma studies, while demonstrating similar capabilities in MCF7s. Delphinidin was extracted from H. sabdariffa, and its antimetastatic capabilities were investigated by exposing MCF7s to a delphinidin challenge to assess levels of MMP9 and TIMP1 gene expression. If the trends follow the literature, delphinidin challenge will reduce MMP9 expression and subsequent metastatic capabilities in MCF7 breast carcinoma cells via downregulation of the p38 MAPK signaling pathway. To conduct delphinidin extraction, Hibiscus sabdariffa T was homogenized in extraction solvent using the IKA Ultraturax model T24. The extraction solvent was removed using rotary evaporation, and purification of the final product was conducted using SPE cleanup techniques and preparatory chromatography techniques. Delphinidin identification was conducted using the H-class UPLC validation, and total delphinidin concentrations were quantified using UV-Vis spectrophotometry. MCF7 cell viability following delphinidin challenges of varying concentrations was assessed using the MTT assay in an attempt to establish a sublethal yet inhibitory challenging dose to MCF7s for further experimentation and analysis. To analyze TIMP1 gene expression following delphinidin challenge, RNA was extracted from treated MCF7s and synthesized into cDNA to be sampled and amplified using RT-qPCR techniques. Amplicons from the completed run were sampled and run under 3% agarose gel electrophoresis, visualizing any amplified gene expression or lack thereof caused by the delphinidin challenge. Below you can find the TIMP1 forward and reverse primers used with the GAPDH reference gene for analysis. To analyze MMP9 gene expression following delphinidin challenge, gelatin degradation via the gelatinase reaction of activated MMP9s was assessed using gelatin zymography. The completed gel was processed and imaged for the presence or absence of negative space digestive bands against a blue background. Sublethal dosing results were inconclusive following delphinidin challenge. Following delphinidin challenge after 24 hours of incubation, the percent cell viability of MCF7s after exposure to extracted delphinidin was reported to be 217 plus or minus 77.97 with a p-value equal to 0.7056. The percent cell viability of MCF7s following exposure to a delphinidin-3 glucoside standard at 0.1 mg per ml and 0.5 mg per ml was reported to be 174.8 plus or minus 77.97 with a p equal to 0.9691 and 106.2 plus or minus 77.97 with a p-value equal to 0.9969 respectively. Trends were beginning to appear around the 0.5 mg per ml challenge, similar to the results reported in previously made literature where cell viability was down more than 50%. However, the primary challenge, the extracted delphinidin, in tandem with the exceedingly high p-value suggested any conclusions made regarding MCF7 viability in response to delphinidin challenge were simply observed trends and nothing conclusive or statistically significant. MMP9 and TIMP1 gene expression did not alter following delphinidin challenge. After 24 hours of incubation, the presence of consistent digestive bands across all samples of conditioned MCF7 media samples was an indication of the lack of inhibitory action against MMP9 gelatinase reactions occurring in the sample. Visual inspection of the processed gel shows identical bands of digestion, Successful delphinidin challenges, if in line with previous literature, would have shown areas of the gel where no bands were visible, suggesting MMP-9 gelatinase activity was suppressed. However, this was not the case, suggesting the dosing of delphinidin was inadequate, or the dose exposure time was insufficient, as previously made literature was able to report success using a 0.5 mg per ml challenge and a 72-hour exposure time. Much like MMP-9 expression and activity, TIMP1 gene expression was not altered by the experimental delphinidin challenge, evidenced by the lack of band intensity across the analyzed samples and the inconclusive data reported after normalizing the change in TIMP1 expression. No significant alteration in the inhibitory gene was shown, with a reported change in expression of 0.5718 plus or minus 0.6921, with a p-value equal to 0.2981. The findings did not support the literature findings where TIMP1 has been shown to increase in expression during instances of increased MMP-9 activity. MCF7 breast carcinoma cells challenged by extracted delphinidin did not show significant inhibitions of their metastatic capabilities via MMP-9 downregulation, evidenced by the failure to halt or suppress the digestive actions of MMP-9s and the lack of increased TIMP1 activity counteracting any MMP-9 activity detected. Key limitations arose during experimentation that, if rectified in later experiments, would produce more consistent results emulating results previously reported. The experimental dosing proved insufficient. Increasing the delphinidin dose to 0.5 mg per ml or higher would make it possible to accurately test the inhibitory effects of the anthocyanin on MCF7's ability to metastasize. The time of challenge exposure was only 24 hours. However, increasing the time of exposure by 48 hours to equal 72-hour total exposure would likely improve levels of gene expression detection, as it had in other studies, allowing for a sound evaluation of MMP-9 and TIMP1 activity following experimental manipulation. The wide inconclusive variance across the reported data would have been improved by increasing the biological replicate number, ensuring an accurate summation of reported results was delivered, likely leading to more promising changes in expression for both MMP-9 and TIMP1. While inconclusive, continued research into the nutraceutical benefits of plant extracts like Hibiscus sabdariffa as anti-cancer avenues would prove beneficial, as much of the existing literature on the matter reported promising results supporting the idea that plant extracts can indeed act as anti-cancer agents for further development as alternative treatments to conventional cancer drugs. I would like to thank my instructors and peers for their generous time, patience, and advice during research and the rest of the academic year, as it has helped me grow and overcome challenges as a proud student of the Bioscience Technology program. Thank you all very much for listening to my virtual final research presentation.